what are you doing here? And to me, initially I thought, wow, she has lost it. She has lost her mind. And I said, oh, you know what I do here? I clean in here, I make your tea, I make your coffee, I give you dinner. She said, yeah, I know that. But what I'm asking is, why are you doing what you're doing as a job? Why are you doing this job? You seem to be a clued up guy. You seem to be a clever guy. Why are you not doing more with your life? And that was the very first moment that I realized that, yeah, what am I doing? Why am I doing? Welcome to LifeCampus, and thank you very much for joining me today on this episode. Here at LifeCampus, as you know, our one and only goal is to empower your future. We want to give you information, advice, guidance, and all the tools and resources that you need to help you to make those life-changing decisions. My name is Ezrah. I'm your host and your guide as we navigate through the twists and turns of adulthood. I'm normally joined by industry experts to help us to navigate topics such as your education, career, lifestyle, health, and finances. And today I had a guest lined up for us, but unfortunately I got stood up. For one reason or another, they didn't manage to get to me. Therefore, I'm on my own today. I didn't want to waste the time. Everything was set up, and I thought I'll just take this opportunity to share with you a little bit about myself, especially my career journey from the time that I moved from Zimbabwe. So I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, and I moved to the UK at the age of 19. And my journey from then till now has been very interesting. And I like to sit down and reflect. And I did a reflection recently, and I realized that along the journey, since early on, when I was around 20 or so, people started coming into my life at certain stages just to help me to move along. So I would do something, then at a certain point, someone will come in and help me to just realize, okay, it's time to move along. And it just made me realize how powerful we are as human beings. We have the power to affect each other, and we can actually choose. We also have the power to choose to affect each other either positively or negatively. And fortunately for me, my journey, my career journey, I've encountered a lot of people who have affected me in a very, very positive way. And I know for a fact, if it wasn't for those people turning up in my life at the time they turned up, I wouldn't be sitting down here with you today, sharing my story with you, telling you, what I've encountered. And right now, I work for one of the biggest online universities here in the UK, and I'm a senior manager. It's a senior position, and I know for a fact I wouldn't be sitting here telling you about that journey if it wasn't for those people. So we forget sometimes as human beings how powerful we are, and I thought it would be nice to just reflect on how we go about affecting people that we come across. This could be in our friendship groups, in our families, at work, everywhere we are. How are we showing up for other people? And how are we using our power? Are we using it in a positive way, or are we using it in a negative way? It reminds me of this word that I came across. It's a South African word. It's called Ubuntu. Basically, it means humanity to all. And in its simplest terms, it's I am because you are, or you are because I am. It shows how powerful we are. It just emphasizes again how powerful we are as individuals to affect each other. I listened to this other interview when the guest was asked, the meaning of life. What does life mean to you? And I was very interested in how they responded to that question. And they said, to them, life is a series of stages. It's a series of stages, and how we turn up on those stages, it's really is up to us. So we have the power to decide how we turn up on those stages. So I thought about my life and I looked at it, and this morning I realized that, okay, I've been moving from this morning, I've been moving from one stage to another. So I woke up this morning, and the first stage I walked onto was a husband, because my wife was still sitting, was next to me. Yeah. How I turn up for her in that particular moment will affect the rest of her day. Whether I say good morning or if I choose to just walk out and say nothing, it's going to affect her. If I say good morning in a loving way, it's going to be positive. If I just get up and walked off, it's going to be negative, right? The next stage I walked onto was a dad. I went into my son's room. Good morning, how are you? How was your night? And in that moment, how I chose to turn up for him affected his morning in a very positive way. So I could have gone in there, wake up, it's time to wake up. And that affects how he is in that moment, right? It probably affects his morning, affects his day, probably. Yeah. And the next stage I moved on to was at work. I work from home. So the moment I log onto my laptop and start going into meetings, how I turn up in those meetings, how I conduct my meetings, and how I address my team affects them and affects the rest of their day. So either positively or negatively. So it is important to realize how powerful we are everywhere where we are, everywhere where we go, how powerful we are to affect the people around us. Now the choice is, do you want to affect people negatively or do you want to affect people positively? Because it's a choice. It's a decision that we make every time we interact with people. So it reminds me of this lady that I met earlier on when I just started working. Moved from, like I pointed out earlier, when I moved from Zimbabwe, and I think I was around 20. I met this lady. I was working at one of the general hospitals here. I was a domestic assistant. Basically, what it meant is I used to make tea or coffee and coffee for the patients, and I'll give them their dinner, and I'll also clean the wards. So this lady, I met her. She was there. She was a patient. She really liked talking. She enjoyed talking to people. And at that time, for me, I was really reserved, and I would avoid by any means necessary talking to people. So this lady will pull me into a conversation when I'm making a coffee, and she'll start talking. And, I gradually started enjoying talking to her, listening to her, more listening to her stories really, because she would tell me about her life stories, her family, her husband, and things like that. So gradually I started kind of looking forward to those stories and interacting with her. And she was in the hospital for, I think, about 3 weeks. Yeah, and those 3 weeks I was making her tea and talking to her and things like that. Then I think about 2 days before she left, I walked in, and as usual, thought we're going to have a quick chat with this lady, and I move along as I would do every day. I went there, started making a coffee, and then she greeted me as normal, and we started chit chatting. Then suddenly she said, "What are you doing here?" And to me, initially I thought, "Wow, she has lost it. She has lost her mind." And I said, "Well, you know what I do here? I clean in here, I make your tea, and I make your coffee, I give you dinner." She said, "Yeah, I know that. But what I'm asking is, why are you doing what you're doing as a job? Why are you doing this job? You seem to be a clued up guy. You seem to be a clever guy. Why are you not doing more with your life?" And that was the very first moment that I realized that, yeah, what am I doing Why am I doing more with my life? And for me, I think it was the fact of moving from Zimbabwe into this country. It became kind of an achievement that I can actually work. I've got money in my pocket. I can do things. I can pay my bills. I'm fine. And I stopped thinking about uh, moving forward. I stopped thinking about progressing to 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 continually progress. Yeah, I stopped that. So that was the moment I thought, okay, yeah, no, this is a fair question. I have to really sit down and think about it. And before I finished my shift on that day, she said, Ezra, next time I see you, I want you to tell me that you have registered to go back to college and finish your studies. I said, okay. I went home, and sure enough, I sat down. I started ringing our local colleges, and I registered. And the thing is, when I went back to work 2 days later, I was so excited to tell the lady that I've registered and I'll be going to college. But unfortunately, when I walked in, she wasn't there. They had discharged her. She had gone. And then I realized that, well, she had done her bit in my life. She chose to show up for me in a positive way. She didn't have to have that conversation with me. She wasn't going to gain anything with me, working on myself and developing myself and maybe getting a better job. She wasn't going to get anything, but she just chose to show up for me in a very positive way that changed my life. And that was the beginning of my journey into a career that I was happy and proud of. Yeah. So from there, I went on to finish my college, went to uni, and started working. Yeah. When I started working, one of the first jobs that I did, I'm still at that organization now. Once I finished, when I finished university, I went. I started working for this organization, and it's in the higher education sector, as I mentioned earlier. I started at the entry position, and then I also met this guy, and I always tell him, his name is Rob. I met him when I was training. He was there. He was the experienced member of staff there, and he would help, with training new people coming into the organization. So I was lucky enough to sit with him. Yeah, and I would say I'll go as far as I was blessed enough to sit with him, because I know, looking back now, if I had sat with someone to go through that training session, I wouldn't. I would have left that organization. I would have left the organization that I am in now, that I've been so far, been there like for the last 14 years. I would have left it because of what happened in that moment. And so I was training. I was shadowing Rob. I sat with him. I would listen to him. So basically, I was working in the recruitment kind of services where students call in to register. We tell them about the university, the qualifications available, and they can register on the qualification with our assistance, right? So you have to be good in terms of communicating on the phone, and they'll call us, and we'll have to have those conversations. So I would listen to the guy, to Rob. He will go through a call, talk to the student, and I was impressed. And in the back of the mind, my mind, I was saying, this is exactly what I want to be like. I want to be this good with students. I want to be caring with for our students. And to him, it felt like it came naturally. Yeah. So I would shadow him. Then when it was time for me to then try and take a call, I was ready. I put on my headphones, and the call came through, and I froze. Nothing came out. I could not think of anything. I couldn't even say hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it was. I could not say anything. I just froze. and he realized what was happening. And there is the thing now. How he decided to show up for me at that point in time is the reason why I'm sitting down today, looking back, reflecting, and telling you this story. He decided to show up for me in a very positive way. Yeah, very supportive way. He didn't know me. He didn't have to go through the extra effort that he did to show up for me, to comfort me, to encourage me. He just said, you know what, don't worry about it. It happened now. It has happened to the best of us. We've all been through training. These things happen. He comforted me, right? And he encouraged me to try again. The next call came through. I took you on, and the rest is history, yeah. Later on down the line, years later on, I asked him, why did you do that for me? Why did you decide to really go the extra mile for me? And he said, everyone needs a helping hand here and there throughout our journeys. And I felt like if I had let you go home on that day without encouraging you to take another call, you were not coming back. And he was 100% right. In the back of my mind on that day, I thought, yeah, no, I can't do it. The moment I hang up on the student, I thought, yeah, this is not for me. I just can't do it. But because he turned up for me in a very positive way, he decided to use his power as a human being in a positive way for someone he didn't know. That is the reason why I'm here. And I always tell him, anyway, I always embarrass him every time I get a chance, because I know the importance of highlighting how people have positively impacted me, because I want those individuals to continue doing it to other people. And for me, I just pray that I can do the same for other people as well. I learned throughout my journey that we all need support. Just like Rob said, everyone needs a helping hand along the way. So why shouldn't it be me giving that helping hand? And why shouldn't I use my power as a human being to affect people positively? So that is what it is important to always remember, that when you go out there, you have the power to affect people positively or negatively. When you turn up for your friends, who's turning up? Who are you? Who is turning up when your friends are in need, when your family is in need? How are you choosing to show up for those people? Even at work, how are you showing up for your colleagues? How are you using your power as a human being for your colleagues? Hopefully you're not one of those people that everyone within your team are thinking, oh God, the moment they open their mouth, everything negative is coming out. They're not supportive. They're always discouraging other people. That means you're choosing to use your power in a negative way. So there we have it, guys. Remember how powerful you are as a human being, and make a decision. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want people to see you when they think about you, when they talk about you in your absence? What are they saying? The people that I mentioned for you, just two from more people who have come through into my life and changed it. I talk about them, and every time I talk about them, it's in a very positive way, and very thankful way, and very, I wish they could continue to see my journey. So the lady that I met at the hospital, I don't even know whether she's still alive or not. And I'm certain she forgot a lot about me a long time ago, but she did a bit for me. She turned up, and here I am today. That was my starting point. Without her, I wouldn't have started. And with Rob, my career with the organization that I am with right now, that I've been working happily in for 14, 15 years, it's because of him and how he decided to turn up for me on that day when I was still training. So, Ubuntu, let's support each other. Let's connect. Let's be positive. And yeah, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that will help one or two people in there just to reflect. That was my little reflection on my journey and the importance of people, around me, and that will come and go in my life. So yeah, thank you guys. There we have it, guys. Ubuntu. Whether you decide to positively affect people or negatively affect people, it's your decision, really. So thank you very much for joining me today. Join me again next week as we focus more on mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Week next week, starting from Monday. And I'll be sitting down with one of... I admire this lady. I really, really admire this lady. I've read her story and I've listened to her, share her story with the struggles that she had with her mental health and how she overcame those struggles. And now her focus is on helping other people to overcome. Again, it goes back to what I was just talking to you about, that desire to support other people and that desire to see other people do well. And this is the lady that I'm going to talk to next week. So please join me, and we will learn a lot of things. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to that conversation. Again, we need to grow this channel. The bigger we get, the more chances we will have to attract professionals, industry experts, people with life stories that we can learn from. And also, if you've just got a normal life story that you feel like people can learn from, please reach out to me. I'll put my details in the description box below, so you can reach out to me. We can sit down and hopefully you can join me on this platform so we can educate people. The whole point is to help each other, to learn from each other. I want to grow a community of lifelong learners, people who are focused on personal development, continuous growth. That's what we want. That's what we want from this community. So please join me. Let us subscribe, share, and comment so that the channel grows. So thank you very much, and talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye.